Also ahead, being like Brady's, real families that are moving in together and how they make it work.
We get along amazingly well, I would say, and the primary reason why we get along so well is because we don't not say anything.
Next on Better.
When there's a lot of people living under one roof, you can expect some drama.
I raise my voice sometimes.
We've got easy steps to keep the peace in your family.
Just ahead on Better.
Hard times plus too many people under one roof equals trouble. How you can get your family to stop fighting and start feeling the love.
It's all about me. It's about family. It's about community.
Welcome back, everyone. Boy, we've been having a lot of fun today. We already caught up with Steven Tyler about his new American Idol gig and a little flirtatious with Audra here. We also spoke with Bravo reality star Tabitha Coffey about her rise as a businesswoman, even despite the tough economy.
See, it's a tough economy. Girls got to have some fun. Bring Steven Tyler in there. Also, talking about a tough economy, a lot of people are finding some new ways to deal with less money, and that means a lot of families are getting creative. They're doubling up at home. But of course, when more people are added to the mix at the house, getting along can really become a problem. Well, Leslie met up with one family. You have to see this. They definitely worked hard to keep the peace.
I'm gonna go wrangle my son.
Meet the Sachios, a family of 5 that's extended a roof to others and has learned to not just survive, but thrive.
I live here, and my husband Michael Sacchio, and our children Sophie Sacchio, Sage Sacchio, Shane Sacchio, our live-in au pair Yvette Kojic, and the godfather to our children Eric Stephen Jacobs, and then we have our Yorkie Izzy.
All living in a New York City apartment.
And we also have an office, that's my office, which is a separate entrance to the apartment, so I have 4 people that work in there all day long.
Everybody's really busy and doing a lot, and there's constantly people coming and going.
It's a tight squeeze.
Well, this is my room, but you can't go in there.
And not many places to go to be alone.
This is my little sanctum.
I've been in this house alone once my whole life.
They definitely fight, but it doesn't last more than, like 10 minutes. The people that are surprised by it are people that fight a lot. They can't imagine, how could that be possible not to fight?
I raise my voice sometimes.
When I was 11, I did transformative education. So I've been participating in transformative education for over 30 years. And I think in that kind of education, you really start to learn technology for dealing with upsets or avoiding them before they even come up.
When I met Jocelyn, I hadn't done Landmark at that point. I was in AA for a little while, so I'd sort of found my own way with dealing with certain things. And then I met Joss, I found that there was an amazing form of communication with her and her family, which I didn't have.
But in the 17 years my husband and I have been together, we've only fought 4 times. And 3 of those times I was pregnant, so I kind of blame it on the hormones.
We don't fight. I don't fight with my wife. Number one, there's no need to. Now, I'm sure we have had a couple arguments here and there, and they're having disagreements. There's no fights. There's no, fights. I mean, no. That doesn't happen.
I was one of those cynical people that said, I'm not doing any group stuff, and I walked out of there a different person.
We get along amazingly well, I would say, and the primary reason why we get along so well is because we don't not say anything. So, you know how when you don't say something and you kind of don't communicate, then that kind of builds up. We say everything.
I have a wonderful family here in my house. I can't imagine not being here, to be honest. See?
That was funny, like the dad's reaction. Well, not all families are as blissful. A large household can be a very stressful situation.
That's why we have David Cunningham from Landmark Education. He joins us now and he has tips on how to keep the peace while you're all living under one roof. Ooh. We know how stressful that can be.
That would be tough. Yeah, good to have you here.
Hello.
You saw the peace. There's a lot of people living under one roof there, but obviously something's going to come up and people are going to have an argument and get upset. So what would you say just out the gate is the best way to make sure that you can communicate well and not get into an argument?
Well, it's all communication, isn't it? You know, you can communicate what you're disappointed about, you can communicate anything that you have a complaint about, or if there's some failure, you can put it in the past by communication.
And you know, we all get upset sometimes. That's going to happen, especially with multiple people living under one roof. So what is really the best way to resolve it?
Well, there are some real tools people can have to resolve upsets. The first thing to do is to really look at what's behind your upset. There's always one of three things behind your upset. First, there may be some undelivered communication. There may be something you're disappointed by, something you have a complaint about, something that you got hurt by. What works in that is to say it as I versus you. I got disappointed. I got hurt versus you hurt me or you disappointed me. If you say it as I, then the other person doesn't have to be on the defensive and they can just listen to you. That really works.
Does that work in a group setting and as well as just, you know, one-on-one with an individual when you have issues with them? It
absolutely works in a group setting. In fact, the more people there are there, to give each person a chance to communicate like that really works.
Okay. Now, what's the biggest problem that you have to overcome when living together, especially when there's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people under one roof?
The biggest problem, I think, is people not wanting to communicate, people thinking that they shouldn't communicate. And so people act it out in different ways. They get moody, they slam a door just a little bit louder than they meant to, something like that. So the biggest challenge is to go to the other people and invite them to be in communication versus wait for them to come to you.
Okay.
Are these tips that you can use also for people who maybe aren't going through the similar situation, maybe at work or with a, coworker or something like that, or are these specifically just to your family?
No, it's for every situation. The three things behind every upset are either an undelivered communication, something you didn't say, or some intention, accomplishment you had that didn't get fulfilled, or an expectation you had that wasn't fulfilled. We have certain expectations, and if people don't come through for us, we get upset about that. To be able to identify what the expectation was gets that out of the space and lets you be there ready to be productive again.
Okay. You do say that you should ask 3 questions. And see, I'm trying to put myself in this space here because if I'm that upset, I don't know if I'm going to have the patience to do this, but I would try. You say you have to write down what's next, write down your next steps, take action. Is someone that's really that upset and you're living under a roof with all these people really going to be able to take the time out to do something like that? Or is it better to just get it out in the open and deal with it right there on the spot?
Well, if you're right there with the people on the spot, I would just get it out. But I would start again by saying, okay, what was my expectation, or what did I want to accomplish, or what am I not saying? Just start right there. Then there's always a next step, which is to say thank you, or I forgive you, or I apologize, and that gets you right back on the court in action, having life be productive again.
So you need to think about it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, David. Good to have you here.
Okay.
All right, and if you want to get other tips and advice on this very situation, you can go to bettertv.com and then click on the link. We'll have more info there.